Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with BBQ Champs Academy live show tonight. We are looking forward to being with everybody. Looking to have a great show tonight with a true champion in barbecue, Mr. Danny Ramirez, coming off a huge win this past weekend at the Lost Lagoon down in El Campo, Texas, at the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation Cookoff that Joey Smith put on down there. Missed everybody last week. We was on the road traveling as we were heading down to El Campo. We left a few days early and wasn't able to do our podcast last Tuesday. I hate that I missed it. I was trying to get down to a location where I could get internet service and get set up, but I just could not get down there in time. And so I do apologize for not being able to make it. But we're here tonight. We got a great guest, and I see folks are already coming in. As you come in, let us know. We got Papa Joe Grilling Supply in Hutto, Texas. You know, guys, I passed right through Hutto when we was heading down to the awards banquet, and I was really wishing I had enough time to whip in there and stop and check you guys out. I think it's almost y'all's. I saw somebody post, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's your 1 year anniversary. And I may be wrong on that, but I thought I seen it somewhere. So anyway, but certainly do appreciate you being a partner with BBQ Champs. Got Big Jim Hudgens in the house. How are you doing? Manny, how are you doing? I think if I recall, I think I saw you finish second in steak this weekend, and if that's the case, congratulations. Great job. John, appreciate you being here all the way. Yes, it's hot up in Wisconsin. It is smoking hot here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We hit 100 degrees today, and it has been a scorcher, and I think we got another 100-degree day tomorrow, and then it may start to taper off, and I saw next week we're going to be in the 90s. So, yep, 1 year. Congratulations, guys. Let's see. Mary, appreciate you being here. Another cheesehead in the house. Merrick, thank you for being here. Alfred, thank you for being with us. We're going to have a great show, and I hope more and more people will keep showing up. Right now, a lot of people are still out traveling a little bit. They got the kiddos in school, so we don't know what's going to happen now that the kids are in school. We hope that we can still have good turnouts. Right now, we got 13 on it. Hopefully, we'll have a few more show up. So, but we've been pretty busy. You know, a couple weeks ago, we traveled down to Seguin, Texas, and went down there for the IBCA Awards Banquet. Had a great time down there visiting with our barbecue family, getting to honor our top 10 that finished up in the IBCA Point Chase, and Danny is one of the ones that was in that. He finished 7th overall in the point, so just had a great time with our family. Barbecue family being down there. Got a chance to go to the Burnt Bean barbecue restaurant by Mr. Ernest Cervantes, and I'm telling you right now, if you are ever in that area, you absolutely need to go to the Burnt Bean. Some of the best barbecue, not some of the best, I will go out and say it is the best barbecue that I've ever had at a restaurant. His brisket was absolutely phenomenal. Then everybody said, you got to try the turkey. I tried the turkey, unbelievable. I tried his ribs, all his side dishes, and Ernest is absolutely knocking it out of the park. So if you're ever down in that area, you got to make sure you drop by the Burnt Bean. And it was just a great time. We had a good time going down there. We went down there a few days early. I was also, they inducted the IBCA Hall of Fame. They had 4 new members go into the Hall of Fame. And one of the things that I was just absolutely floored by is they had a new award that came out for the banquet, and it was from Jeff. It was Jeff Shivers. Jeff Shivers was one of the original founding fathers. He passed away last year. His daughter Laura and was there. She's the treasurer of IBCA. And they were talking about having a new special award in Jeff Shivers' memory. And they had all of us standing up. If you've been cooking 30 years, been cooking 25 years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, if you've been cooking a year, stand up. Having all of us stand up. And they said, this is what barbecue's about, you know, and we want to continue to see this sport grow. And we want to give an award out for someone that has just done so much to help this. And all these cooks in here standing up, I'm just looking around thinking, who in the world is it? And I'll tell you what, when they announced my name, and here's the trophy that they had made from the guy at Short Rid Drum Cookers. They did an outstanding job making this trophy, but it is the Jeff Shivers Memorial Sportsmanship Award. It had my name engraved on the bottom of it, or sketched on the bottom, for 2021. And I tell you what, if you could have seen the look on my face when she announced my name for this, I was literally in shock. I never expected that, and with all the great people that was in that room. But this trophy means so much to me, and I was honored to be able to receive it. It was the inaugural for this Jeff Shivers Memorial Sportsmanship Award, and I will cherish this for the rest of my life. It's going to go right up here behind me. You're going to always see it on the set. But I thought the guys at Short Drum Cookers did an amazing job on putting this together, and I was absolutely floored. And it was an honor to receive it. Jeff Shivers, one of the founding fathers of IBCA, I always enjoyed talking to him. The last time I remember, we was over in Terrell, Texas, and he came in the trailer and we spoke probably for 30, 45 minutes. Jeff is just one of those kind of guys you could just keep talking to, and it was so great to hear some of the stories from the very beginning. And I tell you what, I was honored to be able to receive that. We're going to try to get Laura on here, and Lynn Shivers, his wife, and we may try to get them on one time on our podcast. I had reached out to Laura earlier right before the show, but she wasn't able to make it. And but I do appreciate that award. It's been a great 2 weeks. I've been away a lot. We went to the awards banquet, then after that we jumped right on in and went down to the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation Cookoff in El Campo, Texas, at the Lost Lagoon RV Resort, or RV Park. Absolutely phenomenal place. A lot of fun. And so I'm glad to be back home. I'm glad to be back with all of our family and friends here on BBQ Champs Academy Live. We got a few more folks that are still coming in. Bill Manning, yes, Danny is absolutely on fire. A huge grand champion this weekend. Caitlin, glad to have you here. Brandon, glad to have you with us. The man himself, Mr. Terry Roan. Buddy, I tell you what, Terry, you have been on absolute fire, tearing it up in the SCA. And just, once again, just so consistent, right back on up there in that top 10. I don't know, I guess that's 3 or 4 years in a row now. Congratulations. So, Steve, glad to have you here, man. It was great getting a chance to see you at the awards banquet as well. Bill, thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. It was an honor to be able to receive that. And I told Laura that I was fortunate enough to win Marksville 2 years. One of my trophies that I won is over here. I won that in 2018. That was another shocker. It was a very, very hard competition to win. I won it in 2018. I won it again in 2020 last year. And one of Jeff's favorite competitions to ever go to that he always talked about was Marksville. And I told her, I said, I'm going to get them 2 trophies, and this award is going to go right between those 2 trophies because I just know Jeff loved that competition so much. So that's where that award, that trophy is going to go. It's going to be right between my 2 Marksville trophies. Danny, appreciate you being on here as always. Alfred, thank you for being on here. Let's see, we got Merv. Thank you for being here, Merv. Appreciate it. And goodness gracious, we got just folks just steadily coming in. Well deserved. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it. John, thank you for being on here. I do appreciate it. Deserve the recognition. Smoke on. Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it. That's it. Oh my goodness, there's my father-in-law. He even showed up. Peepaw's here. Hey Peepaw, hope you're doing good. Sorry I took Suzette away from you for the last couple of weeks, but she'll get by to see you sometime. So anyway, without further ado, we got a guy that we need to be bringing in here. We got a few more folks coming in. Before we bring Danny in, though, I do want to just always give a shout out to our partners. I certainly want to thank you, because without you, we couldn't do what we do. Danny with Be Extreme Barbecue, thank you so much, man, for supporting us. You've always been there. It was great seeing you at the awards banquet, and your friendship means the world to me. Our good friends at B&B Charcoal, we'd love to have those guys on board. I know they're doing everything they can to try to keep up with the demand. We got Brian Crawford with Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop. Appreciate him. He's got some awesome product. His rubs are awesome. His pit sprits are phenomenal. Crawford Barbecue Pit Sprits, check those out as well. Papa Joe Grilling Supply in Hutto, Texas. Congratulations, guys, on your 1-year anniversary. I really wanted to be able to stop by there when we was going through Hutto to awards banquet, but I just could not do it, didn't have the time, but we do appreciate your support as well. My good friend David at Gunter Wilhelm, some of the absolute sharpest knives that I've ever come across that hold an edge. If you're looking for a good knife, please check out the Gunter Wilhelm Lightning Pro Cut series. You will not go wrong. Mr. John Lindsay and Hottie Toddy himself, Mr. Ronald Burns at SteakRubs.com. They've got their website up and open. You can get all of their rubs. They're bringing in more lines of rubs. I would imagine every month they're going to continue to add more to that. So we appreciate those guys as well. And also Mr. Dustin Stanley at the barbecue store down in Hempstead, Texas. It was great getting a chance to visit with him, not only at this past weekend, but at the banquet as well. So we do appreciate, oh no, I take that back. He wasn't at the banquet. He was just at the competition this past weekend. So I appreciate all of you guys and everything that y'all have done to help us. Well, without further ado, let's bring on the red hot cooker himself, the man, the myth, the guy that everybody wants to be like, Mr. Danny Ramirez, coming in hot barbecue team. How you doing, Danny?
Doing pretty good, thanks.
Man, I tell you what, I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to go in and change that name real quick. I had Daniel. I know your name is Danny. You go by Daniel. So anyway, man, congratulations. You have had quite the past year or so. Huge run in the IBCA and the Points Chase. I think you finished 7th overall in the Points Chase. Man, congratulations. And was this your first full year of cooking?
Yeah, if you consider the COVID year, so really last October is where once the IBCA got going again, pretty much did it all the way to the end. All the way to the end.
Well, man, I tell you what, congratulations. Well deserved. There was some stiff competition out there. And I was sitting there watching, and you were steadily prevailing, going right up the chart. So tell us a little bit about Danny Ramirez. How did you get started in barbecue? Did you have an influencer when you was growing up as a kid? Was you a late bloomer that kind of got into it later in life? Tell us the story.
Nothing growing up. No one in my family barbecued or anything like that. I'd say I was thinking about this. It was about 2014, and I was at Home Depot, and that's where I purchased a Weber Smoky Mountain. Just out of curiosity.
Right.
Looking for something for around the house with 2 young kids, and another one on the way. I was looking for stuff around the house to do, and fell in love with it from the second I put it together and started playing with it, and trying to learn about barbecue, watching a lot of YouTube. Mm-hmm. It wasn't shortly after, maybe 3 months, I went to a guy at work recommended me getting a David Close offset smoker. So I drove over to Oak Forest and placed an order. And when I placed the order, I told, I believe it was his sister running the front desk. And I said, hey, are there competitions for barbecue? And she said, oh, absolutely. And I said, hey, if there's anyone that needs a dishwasher or I just want to be involved and be out there. And the next day I got a call from Grant Pinkerton. And so he was getting a catering pit on a trailer done. And he said, hey, I was thinking about doing a cook-off. You want to come? And did that with him. And I didn't, he had just moved back from UT, and we did another cook-off as well. And then he started wanting to do pop-ups, and he was headed towards, a restaurant. And so I was helping him with a lot of pop-ups. I helped him at rodeo. I believe that was 2017. So I got to experience rodeo that quickly. And
you talking about the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo?
Yeah. Houston.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. I've never got a chance to go. So,
well, I've gone plenty of times, for the party, but being on the other side and seeing the competition, it was amazing. And then, he was focusing on his restaurant, and I wanted to do competition. So that's where I broke off, and we'd go to these cook-offs, and I'd see pitmaker trailers and the pitmaker team out there, and I was just in awe. So I fell in love with pitmaker pits and built a trailer. Used that for a while. Started doing cook-offs by myself, I'd say in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a once every 4 months kind of thing for me.
Right.
And then in 2019, I did a few more. And then it wasn't until like, I want to say early 20, I always had a strong brisket. And I still kind of use the same recipe as I always have. And it's done pretty well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just never do anything on chicken and ribs. So I think that was about the time where you started pushing barbecue champs. And I think Lee Hickel was the IBCA champ the year before, or
Right.
2019. And so that's where I took his class, and he got me, his chicken and ribs kind of got me going, especially his chicken.
Right.
And so, even today, I've kind of molded it into a little bit of my own, but it's a strong presence of Lee's. And so,
Right.
that helped me try, because if you want to, consistently get top 10 in IBCA with the old rules, scoring rules, you really have to hit two meets high most of the time.
Right. Right.
And so, I was getting that. I started to get that, and then the ribs started coming along, and next thing I know, there was getting all three aligned, and for sure now you have to.
Yeah.
You can't bomb one right now. So
yeah.
And so that's where I am today. And then, with a little success with COVID, they started opening up October of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, I hit a GC up in Willis, and I was in awe. Then I told my wife, I was like, I gotta try this a little. I was like, I gotta go after this, and it was fun. It was fun last year, and it was stressful too at some points. And I'm only cooking most of the time every other weekend. I take a weekend off to spend with her and
right.
The kids, and so I'm thankful for her letting me do that.
Right. Right.
So I would sit there on the weekends I'm off and just kind of like watch everyone, posting, and I'm getting anxious, and man, I wish I was out there. And but I think it's a good balance. I spend that weekend. Come Sunday, I'm ready.
Right.
So I get to spend that whole work week not thinking about getting ready for a comp, and then come weekend time, I'm full mode, getting ready. All my meats are ready, and all I have to do is make my injections, and then that whole week I'm just stress-free and just ready to go.
Ready to go. Well, look who just popped in. Lee Hickel. I'm proud of you, Daniel. So,
thank you.
Yeah, Lee's a great guy, and I know he does a lot of things to help anybody that's taken his class. And I know we were talking earlier today, and he just told me how proud he was of you and what you've accomplished. It kind of reminds him of himself. Lee was kind of that. He kind of played around a little bit, and got his butt kicked. Just showing up, and I'm going to do like everybody else, cook the 20-hour brisket and this and that, and all of a sudden that gets expensive, and he's like, I don't like to lose. So, he buckled down. He took it serious in the prep, and I heard you talking about that. And that's one of the things that Lee will stress in his class is the preparation, and being prepared and being ready. And that is what I think it really takes. You can go out and party, and there's a lot of people that can do it, but I think if you're just more consistent and being focused on what you're there for, don't you agree that helps?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say I like to go out and have fun too, and
right.
I make sure I do that and make sure I have a good time and not take it. I take it serious, but I still like to go around, talk with my friends, and and celebrate with them afterwards as well. But I'm an engineer. Processes are everything to me. So that's what I look for the most is processes and preparation. And I heard Brad Leiniger say it once that you can't win a barbecue cook-off on a Tuesday night, but you can lose it. And I think that talks about the preparation of it. Another thing I go by, I solely believe, and I will not go into a competition if I don't feel confident. I'll still go, but I'm going to spend that time until I got everything right.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't like a chicken that I'm taking, when I'm trimming it, it's going in the trash and I'm going back to HEB.
Yeah, go get another
Same
one.
with ribs, brisket. I will not buy a brisket without looking at it. I stopped ordering them because I was settling. And when I wasn't confident, it didn't hit. So
Right.
I'm kind of anal about all that. And so, I mean, there's times where I'll buy 6, 7 chickens before I get 2 halves that I just absolutely love. And
Right.
That's one thing is if you go in feeling confident about everything you're taking there, and you're going to feel confident when you cook it.
Right.
Just gives you a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that's one of the things. Sometimes I've had some ribs and I'll pull them out and I'll go, man, these just aren't exactly, because my wife will always, how do you feel about your meat? Like, my brisket is awesome. I've got chickens look great, exactly what I want, but I got 2 good ribs. I got one that's not so good. And, now with only turning in 7, I think you can kind of get by with that. I like this past weekend, I cut 2. I had one that I didn't even touch. And usually I'd always get like 3, 3, and 3. And sometimes I'd find that one that wouldn't be real good. And I'd go, I can get probably 5 good ones here. I can get, 2 out of this one, maybe 3 out of this one. And then I can just, if I had to, I can go get 1 out of that one rack that I didn't like, put it at the very back where they're probably never going to get a hold of it. And do that. But I'm like you. I think you have to have good meats going into it. I think it just works on you. Like, if you go show up and you ain't happy with what you got, it's not going to work out, I don't think, in your favor. So,
and same thing with your sauces, rubs. If I try to go in with fresh stuff every time. I know it's expensive. Always buying $12 bottles of sauce and glazes and stuff, but there's something to a fresh sauce, and it tastes consistent. And with these glazes, I'll say you have to, even some of the sauces that have like raspberry and stuff in them, you got to be tasting them and making sure they taste similar. There's more and more products out there with natural ingredients, and every peach tastes different, and every habanero has a different heat level.
Yes.
And so it's dialing that in, being prepared for that, having something to balance it, tasting your sauces, not settling for that. And there's times where I'll have to dilute, use multiple bottles of barbecue sauce, where I was going to save it for the next comp, but just to make it right.
Right.
Because, if you want to hit your profile and that's what you want in the box, and you don't want to be second guessing yourself like, that had a little too much on it.
Right.
They're
right.
going to think. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, it's all part of being consistent. I think that's what you have to do. And it sounds like, you're kind of that engineer, right? What kind of engineer are you? Mechanical, electrical, or?
No, petroleum. Went to Texas
okay.
Tech. That's where.
Okay.
Where's my?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
Where that comes from. So yeah, petroleum engineer. Worked in the oil industry for 17 years up until this last March. Got let go finally. Not that I'm thankful for that, but it's been 5 years of nonstop layoffs, and
right.
I finally get caught with my company, and so now I'm working in construction, environmental. So still oil field related, but yeah, background's engineering. Right.
Well, and it seems like that's the technical side. I was the big in the drag racing and stuff. Set a couple of world records, developed a nitrous nozzle, got a patent on it, sold it to Edelbrock. So I come from the racing background. So I'm like you, note taking, everything's consistent. This, that. I'm very, very detailed oriented and notes on every single thing that I do, and I think that plays a key part into having success in barbecue competitions. And people look at me like, you do what? And I was like, it's just me. But it was from all the years of racing. That's everywhere we went. We had a tune-up for every track and this and that, and, knew where to put the clutch setting at, knew where to set the chassis set up at. It was a lot. I mean, these cars were very, very fast. I mean, run 0 to 213 miles an hour in 6.6 seconds. So it was a lot of... Yeah, coming in hot. Yeah, that should have been... It was a red car, too. You would have probably loved it. So... Yeah, but then all that was part of it, and that's what I did. Gosh, all my life from I was 16 years old, and we really got serious into the racing in like 1992. I was probably 35, 36 years old. I was 63, 73, yeah, 31, 32 years old. And we took it serious. I mean, you showed up at a race, it was heads up, run what you brung. I hope you brought enough, and I didn't like losing, so. But the great thing with that is you could control it. I mean, I knew who I was racing. I knew what I did. If I didn't have enough power, I was going to get beat. Barbecue's a little different, man. It's so subjective about this or that and this and that, and it's like, golly, it's already hard enough. So, but I don't know. I just think being the consistent part, and I can see that in you, and it probably comes from your background of your career, what you've done, and that's what you do. So it's interesting the way you do sauces and everything else. So, yeah. Yep. Let's see. Reckham from the Smoking Raiders. So Jason wants to hear the woohoo. Anyway.
Saturday.
Yeah. Yes. I'm telling you, man, that was just absolutely awesome. Let's see. Troy, what's he saying? Doing a fine job. Always a great guy. Mike, right? Yeah. Anyway, it's just absolutely, and thank you. I don't want to just make light of that. Thank you, James. I do appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, so you really had a good brisket game right off the get-go, struggled a little bit with ribs and chicken, saw the techniques that Lee used in his class, tweaked that, used that, probably did it where you obviously you were starting to get top 10 calls, and that's what all of a sudden started getting you some really good calls, consistent grand champions. Now, did you after a little while start tweaking it, making it your own? Because that we've had a lot of cooks that they get it really honed in, and then where they're cooking it may not, you have a good flavor profile. Do you start tweaking on little things from there? Is that how you went about doing it?
Yeah, I will say, my chicken is maybe half his still.
Right.
I've tweaked it, and it started off as couldn't get some of the products. And I don't know if you remember that, where I reached out to you, and
yeah.
So we talked about a different
right.
mix up with Lee, and then
yep.
I like trying new things. I'll try a lot of new stuff at home and just kind of see where it's at. And I'll cook one with mine and just see, is that change worth it?
Right.
Does it make it a little bit better or not? And this last weekend, I've actually, made a little tweak. I took Phil Breeden's class as well the other week, and there was something in there that I saw that I liked, and I was like, well, let me try that. And I incorporated it,
right,
part of his recipe into what I was doing, because I thought it would mix well.
Right.
And put it out for the family. And of course, they always say great, but my wife's normally very honest with me now.
Right.
I mean, we'll be at a cook-off and she'll taste it and she's like, nope. Or, and so I know, and chicken's her favorite. So she knows if I change chicken, it better be
good.
Better be good. And she said, yep. And so I said, okay. So I took that to Lost Lagoon, and boom.
Yeah. First place chicken, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that is flipping awesome. Man alive. Yeah, we're going to get into the Lost Lagoon stuff here in just a minute. So if anybody's got any questions for Danny, this is a great time. I mean, we always like to open it up. Alfred said, hey, a lot of tips. Thanks a lot. Little small tweaks. I mean, I think that's what it takes. You got to kind of work on that flavor profile of something that's really good. So let me ask you real quick. I think you mentioned pit maker. Are you still cooking on a pit maker?
Yep, I'm cooking my brisket and ribs on the Sniper.
On the Sniper, okay.
Which is their offset smoker.
Right. And then what about chicken? Because I saw you was playing around with a little M16 grill. It was an M16, or was it another grill?
M16. Right now, I'm still on the Weber because that's what I feel confident with, and I've been practicing at home with the M16. Like I said, until I know exactly how many bits of charcoal I need and how I dial in the inlets and outlets.
Right.
Until I got that timing down, I'm not going to switch. I'll probably do one more run, and then I'll probably have it out at Danny Dietz. But I also bought that because I'm interested in the steak. I want to start. I don't see too many come around the Houston area, but they're here and there at some of the cook-offs, and
Right.
so that's also why I got the M16. But I'm turning it into a pretty good chicken cooker as well.
Yeah.
So I got a trailer with the porch, and I'm trying to minimize as much as I have to unload. And
Right.
so I'll replace the Weber with that, and it'll be the chicken cooker and steak when I can.
What kind of Weber are you cooking your chicken on?
So I got the big one, the 36-inch. Or is it 36-inch? No, it's not 36. It's probably 26.
26. The 26-inch Weber kettle. Okay.
Yeah, the bigger one.
Yeah, they got a 22 and a 26. Okay.
So it's big. There's a lot of real estate on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's very big, no doubt. You can definitely get. Do you cook 2 halves, or are you the one that cooks 4?
So when we turned in 2 halves, I used to cook 4 halves, but now I'm down to 2.
2, yeah. I've always cooked 2. Even if I had to cook 2 halves, I cooked, and my wife's like, "Don't you want extra?" Nope. There ain't no room for mistake. Cook them right, make them right, and that's the 2 that's going to go in the box. So I've always, of course, on a 22, I felt more comfortable. I felt like it could be more consistent cooking on a 22-inch Weber, and consistent with 2. I didn't like trying to get 3 or 4 on there. So I just said, hey, I'm gonna cook my 2 and do them right, and don't screw them up. If I screw them up, I'm a lousy cook. So, let's see. How do you feel about using Wagyu tallow on brisket? Have you ever made any tallow to use on brisket or not?
Nope, I've never tried it.
Yeah.
But looks good.
Yep. I know this man right here loves his M-Grill, Rick Mail.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ricky, man, I tell you what, you have got an absolutely awesome. I think it was in Gilmer, and he had it on the back of his trailer, and he was cooking his chicken on it. Man, that is a beautiful. It's not an M16. I don't know. It's the bigger one.
Yeah, he has the B. Yeah, the B something.
B30.
And that's the one I wanted. But I mean, that thing weighs like 300 pounds.
Yeah, it's heavy. He told me it is heavy. So,
and I'm not taking that off my trailer.
Yeah, B2. It's the B2. So, yeah, it's heavy. We got enough weight on these dang trailers as it is. I don't need to put another 300 pounds on it. So, I about fell out when I took mine to the scale and weighed it the other day. Got a new truck, and I got it all done. I wanted to go scale it and see, and I was like, it's probably like 15,300 pounds. I rolled that thing across the go. It was 16,200 pounds. I was like, oh my gosh, this trailer's heavy. So, enough weight. So, let's see. What about this? How about bacon grease as a binder on spare or baby backs? I've never done that either. So, man.
I've get all these early on, in my own adventures. I was, I was played a lot with bacon grease and stuff, even getting it in my chicken injection and stuff like that, just to try something different. And I don't.
It don't work.
No. I use bacon fat. I should say not bacon grease. But.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. I just think you got to keep barbecue to what people cook in their backyard. Don't you agree? I mean, these are backyard cookers, or you start going after all this wild stuff, and I think it's just like, what the heck are we eating? That's not what they're used to. I think you got to give them a flavor that they're used to, and something that's just good backyard barbecue. That's what I tell people all. That's what my flavor profile is. Just something that's just good down the road, good barbecue. I don't want to offend anybody, and that's kind of my flavor profile. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good rubs out there. They all taste great. And so you just find what you like, and, control the pepper if you like, you don't want to get too peppery. I think that's my approach.
Right.
But I think a lot of it is one with tenderness and your sauce.
Yeah.
I think sauce is very, very important, especially IBCA.
Yeah.
When it comes to, ribs, for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of these are sauce contests. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So, let's see. Eddie says he likes to use lighter fluid as a binder. So, way to go, Eddie. That's good. I love that one. So, what kind of charcoal you use? You use Kingsford? You a B&B guy?
So Kingsford, Kingsford for chicken on the Weber, and then B&B. Just because B&B is good. And it lasts a lot longer in the offset.
Yeah.
Getting me going, get good base.
Do you use charcoal in your offset, or do you use their lump?
So I back and forth, but I normally start off with a big basket, get a good base, and then I'll start throwing on wood. And then once everything's wrapped, I'm just chunking charcoal in there just to keep it up.
Yeah. Have
Not
you ever
wasting
used
it.
Have you ever used the B&B char logs?
Once.
Okay.
Once. Uh,
After
I don't
you
know. I'd
wrap
have to play with it.
after you wrap everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do. Once I get everything wrapped, instead of just keep feeding it lump, I've kind of switched over now and started feeding it char logs. They're
That's a good
big.
idea.
They last a long time. They got great heat, and I don't have to worry about using my lump up, and I don't want to put no more wood on it. And the charcoal burns up so quick. So I got me a big bin. I just filled it up with some the char logs, and man, I can go in there and put 8 or 10 of them on a time, and golly, that stuff will last 2 hours, and I'll put another 8 or 10 pieces in there. So it's just packed, and it's actually made. I had B&B on here, and it's actually made from compressed wood. So
Okay.
take a look at that. Them char logs, they just burn hot and long, so
All right.
lot quicker than charcoals. And they don't everything's wrapped, so it's not changing the flavor. You like me, I'm just along for the heat. So.
Yep.
Anyway, does he inject his brisket? Okay, let's see. James wanting to know something, so let's lie to him. Does he inject brisket when he cooks it at the house? Oh, okay. Well, we can answer that. What do you do? When you're cooking a brisket at the house, how do you do them?
Nah, I just do straight normally.
Yeah.
I'm still cooking Wagyu though. It's my family knows that if I bring a prime or a choice home, they're used to my competition flavor, so or quality of meat. So we'll do that. But chicken, yes, I'm injecting chicken at home.
Right. So you cook Wagyus mostly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're picking them out. You got a lot of HEBs down there, so I guess you can kind of pick some of the Snake River Blacks, can't you? Or do you try to get golds as well?
So I used to use a lot of Snake River, and then I switched to RC Ranch early on.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I've been on this Australian kick, with Stone Cold Meats, and he allows me to go over there and he'll bring out a bunch of them, and I can look at the thickness and
Right.
everything and get a good feel for it and pick out the ones I want. And
Is that the A9 one? Is that the Australian? What they call the A9?
maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
I like to take notes on the ranches, and so, or at least what I'm using to stay consistent. So depending on where I'm going, I love West Homes, which I think there's an abundance of them. And then I forget what the other brand is. I'd have to look at my phone, but
Right.
it's a more higher quality brisket where I'll take it to a larger cook-off.
Right.
So, but anyways, yeah. I mean,
That's
I keep track of what I use, and so like ribs, I love HEB Naturals.
Right.
I like Prairie Fresh. It's just it's
Harder
hard for me to find like a good
Yeah.
thick Prairie Fresh right now, and
Yeah.
IBPs are my backup.
Yeah. I like Prairie Fresh too. They're very hard to get. You're exactly right. So
But when I go to a cook-off, I'm taking all the same brand.
yeah,
I just kind of
you got to keep it consistent.
different.
Yeah, you got to keep it consistent. So that's one of the things that I did going down to Lost Lagoon. I cooked an IBP Prime. And Lee looked at it. It looked like a gold. I mean, this thing, I showed it to Lee, and Lee was like, that dadgum thing looks like a Snake River Gold. And I was like, it's IBP Prime. He was like, they mismarked that thing. And I was like, well, I don't know if I already cooked that one at the Lost Lagoon. Or he said, I'd cook that thing anywhere. And, sometimes the Prime, I mean, it's got a little different taste. And I kind of thought small town. I knew it was a big cook-off. And I was like, maybe I'll just do a Prime. I cook a lot of primes. Sometimes they do really well, especially if you got 40 teams or less. And if you can find a really good, well marbled prime, man, they do very, very good. I think I finished 18th there, so I was happy. Danny wants to know: do you use paper or foil? I'm sure it's probably foil since it's competition.
Foil.
Yeah, foil. So let's see. John said first time using B&B logs from a brisket, the best ever done. Yep, they're good, no doubt. Stone Cold Meats Steve and his crew rocks. Yeah, I wish we had access to something like that in Shreveport. I'm so stinking far from everything. I have a hard time trying to find good meat sometimes. So anyway, well, let's talk a little bit about the them two big, huge, badass trophies, as Joey kept calling them, over your left and your right shoulder back there. So. Tell me what your process was coming in. You knew it was going to be a big cook-off, 77 teams. How did you prepare coming into it? What was your thought process? What was you hoping to be able to accomplish?
Yeah, so Lost Lagoon to me is my favorite venue, for obvious reasons. Great RV park, great facilities and amenities for the family, but and it's always a big cook-off. I mean. I think 2019, and this is where everything got crazy for me, was I hit a first place brisket.
Yeah. And
it was like out of the blue. And that's what started this whole craziness. But no, I didn't prep any differently. Like I said, I take the same stuff to anywhere, Seguin, Baytown. I just make sure it's right on spec, and there's nothing wrong with it. So did great, obviously, in chicken. Got the first place chicken, which is only the second time I've ever done that. And in that big of a field, I was
heck yeah.
And then ribs hit fourth, and I was really happy with the ribs. And I was really happy with the brisket. Hector can too. This is a long chain of how we're connected, but my cousin's wife, her cousin is married to Hector. Okay. And so Hector was going to be there. So my cousin and his wife came all the way down from Dallas. And so Hector, and I had met Hector before, but we were going back and forth, and he came over with his brisket to my trailer, and we tried it. He tried mine and loved mine, and he is talking crap about his, and I tasted his, and it was obviously a solid brisket. And I was like, nope. I was like, this is really damn good. And then we tried mine, and I popped it in my mouth, and it had a weird taste to it. Mm-hmm. And then so I let that, took a drink of water, probably not water, probably it was beer, but and then let my taste buds kind of get back to normal. And then I tried mine, and I was like, damn, this is good too. And Hector was like, man, you got me on this one. And, I ended up 27th on brisket. And so, which. Did
you get on the table of death?
It happens. No, I mean, 27 out of 75, but I didn't hit. There was a couple other strong tables, but, that's how it's going right now. But yeah. And so, but it also got to me thinking that there is some luck in placement on this thing, in this game. Yeah. Because you could have, like on chicken, if you have a great chicken, and really to me, chickens that win just taste like really good chicken and are moist.
Yep, that's it.
There's no magic to it.
Nope.
A well-cooked chicken and moist and tastes like good chicken.
Yep.
And, I've judged chicken before, and I had one that it was so, I say fiery, just spicy. And it didn't matter how many pickles and crackers and water I drank, I couldn't get it out of my mouth. I couldn't taste the next three chickens.
Right.
I mean, and I didn't know what to do, so I just gave them middle of the road, kind of sevens or eights because of, tender. This is back when single point judging, but it's like, man, that could, if there's a, kamikaze box in there, it'll throw the next few boxes off.
It'll definitely do it.
So, but brisket on this one, like I said, I'm an engineer, and I pull all the numbers and for each table, and I kind of see the variances in judging. And I was on table A, which wasn't a bad table. It was probably, so there was 5, I think, A, B, C,
D, and E.
D and E.
Yeah.
And D and E were judging really high. C was the table of death.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
It was
they were
terrible.
averaging like 120 on the scores.
Yeah.
And like table E was averaging like, I don't know, 140, 150.
150. 30 points difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then my table was averaging like 130 something, or I believe. I don't
right.
know. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but
Right.
I was just looking at that, and it's just how it landed. But these big cook-offs, and with a lot of tables, it's
It's going to be
I
hard.
went for that one. But
Yeah.
I didn't. The way I also look at it, I was out of 15 that went to my table. I was number 5 still, so I still didn't. I still didn't win my table or get close. So
Right.
there are better briskets out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think that they need to take the top 4 or 5 boxes, depending on how many they're going to carry. I mean, obviously, if you have 5 tables, they could take 3 off each table and advance them on, and that would be fair. That's going to keep. There's going to be a lot of cooks, and I'm already seeing it. I'm hearing it. I mean, gosh, man, I got so many people bending my ear, and there was a competition. 8 came off of one table, 2 off of another. I know there was a couple other tables. Man, there was a lot of boxes advancing off. And these table of deaths and angel tables are. I mean, I don't want to get beat by a judge. I want to get beat by a cook. I've said that from the very get-go, and I think there's a lot of people that's they don't like it.
I think they need to hold. If it tastes like crap, yes. Or if it's not cooked chicken, yes. But they need to maybe hold some of these judges accountable that are going in there with 2s across the board, or 2s and 3s, and just say, hey, what's your thought process here? Because we see you, and I know it takes a lot of helicoptering at the judging at the tables,
they
walking around,
right,
and just say, hey, let's be fair, because
right.
I'll go look at the, from the tables to the judges, and like on the brisket, especially because I wanted to see what happened, and on that table C, judge number 5 was given 2s and 3s to everyone, and then all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 boxes where it was 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
eliminate the 2, 3, and 4. That would right there help bring parity. I keep telling them, get rid of the 2, the 3, and the 4. Have it 5 through 10. That'll help bring parity amongst the tables, because you can. And the thing is, just like you said, there's 30 points different from one table to another, and if you did advance off that table, they're carrying the score over with you. Well, hell, you're so damn far behind. It don't matter. Why even doing it? I ain't got a chance. I mean, if we're going to carry them over, reset it. Just reset the scores. Give them 10 extra points for going to a final table, and quit carrying over the scores. Because if you go in and you're 15, 20, 30 points behind, you ain't got a chance anyway. I'm going to stay at the bottom. I've had a couple people tell me that. Well, I went in 10 and I was so far behind, I got carried over that I didn't have a chance to catch up. And it's discouraging is what it is. So
yeah, and this cook-off, there's the top 10 was pretty close. I mean, I had Robert by 1 point, and then I think he had Jerry Curdy.
Well, I was talking about the individual meets.
Well, I know, but at the end of the day, you add up all your points, and 20 points made.
Yeah, make a difference.
10 points made, 15, 20 points is you're out of it, out of the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the table, but that's something they need to think about and see if they can make it better.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you got 2 big, huge trophies back there to show it. And that was an amazing cook. I was so proud of you to see you do that. So I know it had to make you feel good. Man, I saw him get that chicken. I was like, uh-oh, he's already on a roll. It's always good getting that first one right across, because to me it's always like, if I get chicken across the line, my brisket and ribs are usually going to show up, and we're going to have some fun. That's always been my deal, man. And chicken here lately has been pretty dang strong for me. I've had like 5 straight in the top 5, and I changed up some stuff on chicken and a sauce. And ever since I did, man, it has been really, really solid. And I think this one, I must have been on. I don't know. I finished 55th in chicken.
I always say that chicken's like a crapshoot for an IBCA, and I always look at it as, I had to get a strong rib game, because I feel like if you have good ribs, they'll prevail. Same with brisket normally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but chicken, so many people cook so many good, like I said, if it tastes like good chicken, you're going to get good scores typically. So it's a tough category. So if you can get any points on chicken, especially how the old scoring rules, it was, to me, they were like bonus points.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I got 4 extra points. All right.
Yeah, I'm good to go now. Yeah, that's the way I felt. So
so to me, chicken was always like bonus points, but now it's a different game. It's all your points count, so it means
something. Yeah, it does. It does, because that's the way I was, man. If I can just get anything, just give me a 7th or higher in chicken, and my ribs and brisket are so stinking strong that heck, I don't know how many grand champions I've had in the last year. It's 4, 5 GCs and a reserve. Just consistent, I mean, just, gosh, I couldn't tell you how many rib calls, I think since February last year, probably 17, 18 cook-offs, and I think every one of them has been in the top 10 except maybe once or twice. And brisket, same way. I mean, my brisket has just been super consistent over, 4 years. And, I'll be able to judge this pretty quick, especially, and I'm going to start coming up here and doing some up here in Region 1 and see what happens. And it's gonna tell me real quick what's going on. So another thing I don't like is, before there was always consistency, at least in my stuff, and now, the consistency. If I land on a table of death or something, I'm not gonna. I guess I could attribute. Okay, it was table of death. I'm not going to change anything. I've been cooking the same brisket for 4 years, and 18, 19, 20, and 21. 4 years, and it's consistent. So it's. I think they'll.
We've talked about this. I think that they took a long time to roll this out. So they thought about this for probably over a year.
Yeah, it was over a year.
And I think they just want to run it to see. I don't think that they're not the group that's going to make a quick, rash change.
Don't seem like it.
Hopefully they, at their next meetings they start. It's a real strong discussion point. Because I think IBCA has some really good people in it.
Oh yeah, they do. I just at least like to see them get the score. It just changed it to 5 to 10. Instead of this 2 to 10. That's going to bring parity amongst the tables right there. That one simple change will help bring parity amongst so the table is scoring 2, 3s, and 4s. All of a sudden they can score 5, 6, and 7s, and then you may have the other groups that are scoring 7, 8s, and you may have the other table scoring 9s and 10s. But it's a heck of a lot closer than the ones over there that are just absolutely getting killed. So
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, simple. That's just a simple thing that you could do. And it keeps these people from running teams in there that are going to lowball it. I know it happens. We all know it happens. And it would stop all that. And heck, if anything, maybe drop low score, So, I mean, I know they do that in other organizations. Drop the low score. Somebody's trying to lowball you, drop the low score. And I think if you did that, that alone may bring enough parity to where it eliminates, these really, really bad tables. So,
yeah.
Well, man, I tell you what, you have had an absolutely great year of cooking. I'm just so happy for you and very proud of what you've done. It's tough out there in this competition world, but you have figured it out. You're consistent at what you do, your thought process going in it. It sounds like you're just a well-rounded guy that just got it figured out, and a lot of tweaks and a lot of practice and good note keeping and stuff like that, and you got 2 badass trophies sitting behind you to plus the chair, so yeah. Come on, let's top 7 in points, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you well deserving, so there's no doubt. I think we've got most of the questions. There was one other question that I want to get through real quick. In competition, some prefer injecting ribs, other brine, and yet others are doing both. Your preference. What do you normally do? And you don't have to tell all of it if you don't want to, but.
No, I'm one of those guys that is an advocate for, if you're new to this game and, you got to get out to cook-offs. And when you get out to cook-offs, if you see my trailer, come talk to me, and you're more than welcome to come in and ask questions, and I'm here to help. And
right.
I have plenty of those guys and girls that help me and that I call, and So, but yeah, I'm just an injection.
Inject, yeah, that's all I do. I put a little injection in mine. I don't go crazy. I see some of them pump them up like Popeye. I kind of go mild, just a little bit of injection, and goes a long way. So, well, I tell you what, you've had a great year. I'm sure you're looking forward to another outstanding year this year. You sure got off to a good start with the win this past weekend for the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation. Joey did an amazing job down there. It was so awesome to see a lot of the vets down there. I think he brought in 4 or 6 people. I can't remember the exact number. Mark Lambert was there. He cooked ribs with a couple of the vets. I know Johnny Dunn did brisket, and Mark may have done chicken as well. So, because I remember he got a call in chicken. So, but it's so good to see that. It was a great organization, huge fundraiser. They raffled off, I think, probably $59,000 in prizes and vacations and cookers, and it's just going to a great cause. And to see Josh Hale get a second place brisket, man, that was. He was one of the first ones, I think, maybe the first one to go through the school there at El Campo last year, and he loved it so much. He got out, he built his own smokers, got a trailer. They loved doing it. We got a chance to sit down. We brought our film crew down there and got a chance to sit down with him and talk to him a little bit. And for him to get that second place brisket, that was just phenomenal. I was so happy for him and all the vets that got down there and was able to participate in it. It was a great event, very well run, and I'm very, very happy with Joey and what he's done. He's got a big heart, and he's trying to help these men and women that suffering from PTSD. So,
yep.
Danny, you got any final thoughts? Anything you want to say?
No, I just appreciate it. It's an honor to be on your program, and you're an outstanding guy in this game, and I appreciate all you've done, and I love visiting with you. So look forward to the next one.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I thank you a lot. Well, guys and gals, we will be back, Lord willing, next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central. Don't know who we're going to have on. We're probably going to end up having somebody, and we was wanting to try to kind of roll into having a lot of our cooks on here to give you pro tips and stuff like that leading up to the KCBS. But I didn't want to let this opportunity pass up with Daniel. Good win, great win this weekend. He was well deserving of the points champion, or top 10 in the points. And I was like, you know what? We can put the KCBS stuff off a week. I wanted to get you in here on the show, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to make time for us tonight. We appreciate it. And next week we'll see if we can roll in some barbecue folks. We'll talk a little bit more about KCBS. We may even bring in a steak cooker as well, so we can mix it up between steak and barbecue. We like to mix it up, ask these questions, pick these guys' mind, and I've had a lot of fun tonight. It's been a great show, and Lord willing, like I said, we'll see everybody here next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, as we always say in our cooking class.